Ladies and gentlemen, there's something more powerful than talent, more valuable than money, and more influential than circumstances. It's a mindset. But not just any mindset, a mindset that can change your life immediately. Now, let me be clear. Change doesn't take time. Change takes a decision, a shift in perspective, a moment of clarity where you stop waiting for conditions to improve and start improving yourself. That's the mindset I'm talking about. This mindset says, I take responsibility. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't point fingers. It doesn't say, I hope someone helps me. No, it says, I'll help myself. The moment you adopt this thinking, life starts bending in your favor. You see, success doesn't begin with action. It begins with intention. And the most powerful intention is when you say to yourself, no more excuses, no more delays. I decide to grow right now. With this mindset, failure becomes feedback. Discomfort becomes fuel. Delay becomes discipline. And fear? Fear becomes the indicator that you're heading in the right direction, because comfort never changed anybody. Here's the truth. Most people are waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, waiting for everything to line up. But the winners, they start. And in starting, they create momentum. In showing up, they build confidence. And in taking ownership, they begin to master their life. So ask yourself, what if I started acting like everything depends on me? What if I started thinking like I'm the one responsible for my future? What if I chose to be consistent when everyone else is casual? That's the mindset I'm inviting you into today. It's not magic. It's not hype. It's a shift from victim to victor, from excuse to execution, from later to now. The question is, will you adopt it? Because once you do, it won't take a year. It won't even take a week. Your life will start changing the moment you do, not because circumstances change, but because you do. That's the real power. That's the turning point. That's the mindset that will change your life immediately. If you want your life to truly change, if you're tired of the same old story and you're ready for a new chapter, then it starts here. Take 100% responsibility, not 50%, not 80%, not just when things go well. I'm talking about full, complete, no excuses responsibility for where you are and where you're going. The day everything changes is the day you stop saying it's because of them and start saying it's because of me. Not in a way that beats you down, but in a way that lifts you up. Because if it's your responsibility, then it's also in your power to fix, to grow, to shift, to win. You see, most people go through life pointing fingers. The economy, the government, their boss, their upbringing, their past. It's easy to find someone or something to blame. But blame keeps you stuck. It gives your power away. It convinces you that you're a victim of circumstances instead of the author of your future. But once you say, it's on me, something happens. Your thinking sharpens. Your energy rises. You start noticing what you can do instead of what you can't. You stop waiting for permission and start taking action. Now, this isn't always comfortable. Responsibility is heavy. It requires honesty. It requires courage. It means looking in the mirror and saying, I am where I am because of the choices I've made. But here's the beauty of it. If you made choices that lead you here, you can make new choices that lead you somewhere better. Responsibility says, if I'm unhappy, I'll do the work to get joyful. If I'm broke, I'll study, save, and hustle to build wealth. If I'm stuck, I'll find a way forward, no matter how slow, no matter how hard. When you take full responsibility, you become the captain of the ship. You don't control the weather, but you do decide which direction to steer. And here's the truth. Successful people aren't lucky. They're responsible. They take ownership of their mornings, their choices, their attitude, their goals. They don't complain, they don't wait, they rise, they respond, and they keep moving forward. So, if you want a life you're proud of, if you want to grow, to win, to lead, then take the reins, take full responsibility. Not tomorrow, not when things are easier, now. But let me tell you something that will save you years of regret. There is no perfect time. Waiting for the right time is just another form of procrastination dressed up as wisdom. It sounds reasonable, even responsible, but it's a trap. Because while you wait for ideal conditions, someone else with less talent, fewer resources, and more problems is out there getting started. They're stumbling forward, learning as they go, and getting better by doing, not by waiting. Let's get honest. There will always be a reason to delay. There will always be a bill to pay, a family matter to handle, a fear to wrestle with. If you're waiting for all the lights to turn green before you leave the driveway, you'll never go anywhere. Life doesn't work like that. It never has. The people who accomplish great things aren't the ones who waited. They're the ones who moved, even when it was inconvenient. They did move. They moved onward. They moved during the darkest days, and it was heaven, and it was moved in the sunlight. It was moved in the sunlight. Let's get honest. There will always be a bill to pay. It will always be difficult. It'll always be inconvenient. They started before they were ready. They spoke up before they had the perfect words. They launched the idea before everything was in place. That's courage. That's faith. That's how momentum is created. And you don't need to take massive leaps either. You just need to take a step. The magic isn't in waiting. The magic is in moving. Because when you move, even slowly, things begin to change. Doors open, confidence grows. Clarity comes. The problem with waiting is that it teaches you nothing. But action teaches you everything. You see, growth doesn't happen while you're thinking about change. Growth happens when you do something, especially when you do it scared, uncertain, and uncomfortable. The truth is, nobody ever feels totally ready. The trick is to move anyway. And here's the irony. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. The dream doesn't go away, it just gets buried under layers of hesitation, fear, and maybe someday. That someday mindset is what robs people of their potential. It sounds harmless, but it steals years. It wastes talent. It creates a life full of what ifs instead of I did. So what do you do instead? You begin right now with what you have, from where you are. Stop waiting to have it all figured out. You won't. But you will figure things out as you go. That's how every successful person has done it. They weren't geniuses. They were simply people who decided that starting was more important than waiting. And when you start, you learn faster. You find out what works. You build strength. You stop fearing the unknown because you're out there exploring it. That's where confidence comes from. Not from theory, but from action. Let's not sugarcoat it. Starting is uncomfortable, but regret is far more painful than the discomfort of taking a risk. The price of inaction is always greater than the price of effort. If you wait too long, you don't just delay your dreams, you shrink them. You begin to believe they were never possible, but they were. You just waited too long. So today, draw a line in the sand. Say to yourself, I'm done waiting. I'm done stalling. I'm done pretending I need more time. I will start and I will learn along the way. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect. You just need a decision. The only way to change your life is to start changing it. Not tomorrow, now. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is whatever time you choose to take that first step. And once you do, you'll look back and wonder why you ever waited in the first place. People often talk about motivation like it's the secret to success. You hear it all the time. I just need to feel motivated. Or I'll start when I'm motivated. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's based on how you feel. And your feelings? They change with the weather. If you build your life around motivation, you're setting yourself up for inconsistency. One day you're fired up, the next day you're tired. One day you're focused, the next you're distracted. That's the problem with depending on motivation. It's emotional. And emotions are not a foundation for lasting results. But discipline? That's a different story. Discipline is steady. Discipline says, I do it whether I feel like it or not. Discipline doesn't ask for your permission or your mood. Discipline does what needs to be done on the good days and the hard days. That's where the power is. Success doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary. Not once, but again and again. Discipline is what turns dreams into routines and routines into results. Motivation may get you going, but discipline keeps you growing. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to have the best resources. But if you're disciplined, if you can make a promise to yourself and keep it, you're already ahead of 90% of people. Motivation wants to save money when income is high. Discipline saves no matter what. See the difference? Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just like lifting weights, it's not always comfortable. It's not supposed to be. Growth never happens in comfort. Growth happens when you choose to do the difficult thing, not the convenient one. And here's the best part. You don't need motivation to be disciplined. You just need a decision. You decide that your goals matter more than your feelings. You decide that your future is worth a little discomfort today. You decide that consistency beats intensity every time, because it does. You don't become excellent by doing something once in a while. You become excellent by doing it consistently. Daily habits, quiet effort, repeating the basics when others get bored. That's discipline. And that's what separates winners from wishers. Now, does motivation help? Of course. It can be a great spark. It can light the fire. But if you're wise, you won't wait for it. You'll build a system. You'll create structure. You'll build habits so strong that you don't have to think. You just do. That's how champions train. That's how leaders lead. That's how wealth is built, not on excitement, but on discipline, on doing the thing long after the feeling has faded. So here's the question. Are you relying on how you feel, or are you building a life based on who you want to become? Because the road to success is paved with early mornings, late nights, tough choices, and doing what most people won't. Not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. That's the price. That's the path. Discipline doesn't shout. It doesn't seek attention, but it always delivers results. So stop chasing motivation. It's a nice bonus when it shows up, but you can't count on it. Instead, build discipline. Train it like a muscle. Keep your word to yourself. Do the work even when no one's clapping. That's where strength is forged. That's where success begins. Motivation might get you started, but discipline gets you finished. There's a simple truth that once understood can bring incredible peace and power into your life. You can't control everything, but you can control some things. And the moment you focus your energy on what you can do instead of what's happening around you, your life begins to shift in a big way. Most people waste so much of their energy worrying about things completely outside their control. They worry about what others think, what the market is doing, what the weather will be like, what someone said on the news. But here's the thing. Worrying about what you can't control doesn't change a thing. It only drains you. It steals your joy. It clouds your thinking and freezes your progress. Successful people live by a different principle. They wake up every day and ask, what can I control today? That's where their focus goes. That's where their energy flows. They don't try to fix the world, they fix themselves first. You can't control the economy, but you can control how you spend, how you save, and how you grow your skills. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control your attitude, your behavior, and your integrity. You can't control traffic, but you can control whether you leave early and how you respond to the delay. See, when you stop trying to change everything and everyone and start taking ownership of your own actions, your own habits, and your own mindset, that's when things begin to turn in your favor. It's not about ignoring the problems around you. It's about understanding that your greatest influence begins within your own decisions. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to do your part every day with excellence and consistency. There's a phrase worth remembering: control the controllables. That means if you can't fix it, don't carry it. If you can't influence it, don't waste your energy on it. Instead, put your focus where it will count. And where does it count most? Your habits, your effort, your attitude, your time, your choices. Think about it. What's more powerful? Complaining about things outside your reach or working on the things right in front of you? One builds bitterness, the other builds progress. Let's say you're building a business and the market takes a dip. You can't control the market, but you can control how you show up. You can keep learning, keep calling, keep improving your service. You can outwork and outlast others. That's the power of controlling the controllables. Or maybe you're dealing with difficult people. You can't change them, but you can change how you respond. You don't have to match their attitude. You don't have to lower your standard. You rise above. You lead by example. And if you're facing hard times, illness, loss, uncertainty, remember this: sometimes the only thing you can control is your response, but that's enough. How you carry yourself in adversity says everything about who you are becoming. It's easy to get distracted by the big stuff, but life is made up of little decisions, daily disciplines, small wins, quiet progress. That's where your power lies. You control your routine. You control what you feed your mind. You control whether you make excuses or take action. Let the rest go. Because here's the truth. When you focus on what you can control, you start to influence more than you realize. People notice. Opportunities come. Confidence builds. Why? Because discipline creates results. Ownership builds influence. Focus leads to freedom. So next time you're frustrated, ask yourself a better question. What part of this situation can I take responsibility for? That question is a game changer. It shifts your mind from helpless to hopeful, from stuck to strong. You'll never be able to control everything, and you don't have to. You just need to control enough. Enough to grow, enough to keep moving forward, enough to live with peace in the middle of the storm. Control the controllables. In fact, what you say to yourself every day shapes the person you become. If you speak defeat, don't be surprised when you feel defeated. If you speak strength, courage, and purpose, you begin to act with strength, courage, and purpose. We all have that voice inside, the inner conversation that runs all day long. The question is that voice building you up or tearing you down? Most people don't realize they've been talking themselves into failure, frustration, and fear for years. They say things like, I'm just not good at that, or I always mess things up, or this never works out for me. That kind of talk, it's not harmless. It becomes a belief. And beliefs determine your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your life. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your language. You've got to speak like someone who values themselves. You've got to train that inner voice to become your coach, not your critic, your supporter, not your saboteur. Now, this doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means telling the truth, the right truth, not the one based on fear or insecurity, but the one based on potential. The one that says, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm showing up. Because what you repeat to yourself becomes what you behave. If you keep saying, I can't, you won't. If you say, I'll try, you'll stay stuck in hesitation. But if you say, I will figure it out, you activate something powerful in your brain. You start looking for answers. You become solution focused. You become a problem solver, not a problem repeater. Think of it this way. Would you let someone else talk to you the way you sometimes talk to yourself? Would you tolerate someone calling you lazy, stupid, worthless, or hopeless? Of course not. So why do we accept it when those words come from our own mouth?